Step to the mic.
All right, I don't know whether to look at my husband for support or not here. I think I'm going to look away. Okay. All right, folks, I am going to tell you a modern day Cinderella story. And suspend disbelief here. I am Cinderella in this story. And I will find my prince in this story, but you have to wait to find that out. A long time ago, in a faraway place, Long Island, my prince was born. He was born to a working class baker and homemaker in Long Island. And like most princes of the day, he wanted to be a college graduate. He wanted to be a college graduate, but my prince's fate was not to be. His father passed away his first year at Hofstra, and my prince had to drop out of college. And so what was he to do? He took an unusual path, and my prince joined the army following the Korean War, but in a very interesting way. He traveled up and down Southeast Asia in an exhibition bowling team. So, interesting. But enough about the prince. The story is, of course, about Cinderella, me. So I have to get back to me. I am 13, I am Cinderella, but I'm not in a castle. I am in a middle school gym locker room. And let's be honest, body issues, we know what that's like. I wanted to be bigger, but I wasn't. I prayed and prayed. I was Cinderella. I prayed to my fairy godmother, please make parts of my body bigger. Wasn't happening, folks. And let's be honest, men, you are hoping your body parts are getting bigger when you're 13 too, in that scary locker room. So here I am, Cinderella, the modern day Cinderella. I am in that locker room, and I'm praying, but somehow my fairy godmother didn't really understand my prayers. There was nothing getting bigger that I wanted, except my feet. My feet were getting bigger. Size 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it would not stop growing. What was I going to do with my big size feet? This was not the Cinderella story that I knew about as a child. My mom told me, how was I going to fit don't look at me now. In these glass slippers? How could I? There were no 11 size glass slippers. It wasn't going to happen. So enough about Cinderella. I have to get back to my prince. So my prince, he was done the army at that time, and he needed a job. So he found himself in an unusual job as a traveling shoe salesman. Yeah? And I'm not talking about Sex and the City, Milana Blahnik shoes. He was selling a Tom McCann and lady slippers. These lady slippers and Tom McCann shoes, he was selling up and down corridors of New York. Little towns like Painted Post and Tawanda, I think we're pronouncing it right. These were not the days of Payless shoe stores that you went into. He was actually a traveling shoe salesman, and he had these shoes, my prince to be, in every part of his house, his car, his garage. Every part of his house were filled with these lady slippers, Tom McCann shoe wear, and other shoes. So enough about my prince. I'm no longer 13 in that scary locker room, praying to my fairy godmother, body parts getting big that aren't, just not getting big. And I am now meeting, I'm in my late 20s, and I meet Alan. There he is. But he's not my prince of my story. I would love to tell you he's my prince, but he's not the prince of my story. He's not. I can't make it up. He had princely qualities, but not the prince of my story. After all, he was not going up and down the main line, finding maidens and finding me and choosing me over those mainline maidens and slipping glass slippers onto my shoes to see if they fit. He just wasn't doing that. So enough about Alan, enough about me. Back to, all right, back to the traveling shoe salesman, my back. All right, let me regroup. When did I meet the salesman? Okay, so I met Alan. I loved him, but I knew he had princely qualities, but he was not my prince. I finally got to meet my prince shortly after meeting Alan. Here's a love triangle, me, my prince, and Alan. But this wasn't the stuff of fairy tales. This is a modern day fairy tale after all. I was Cinderella, remember me, Cinderella? And I was meeting my prince. But my prince and I we were doomed from the beginning, our relationship doomed from the beginning. He was twice my age, can you believe it? My prince was twice my age. My prince and I had different levels of education. I was a doctor, he was a traveling shoe salesman. And there was pride issues, let me be honest. He felt like I looked down on him because he was a traveling shoe salesman. I didn't hear the words I wanted from my prince. I didn't feel like I heard, I love you, I care about you from my prince. So what was I to do? I brought my prince home to meet my parents. Can you imagine a traveling shoe salesman meeting my father, a pediatrician, a doctor who quoted quotes from famous authors and books? This was a doomed relationship. Help me, Prince. My princely qualities help me. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, so here, the crux of this story. Me, the love triangle, me, Cinderella, remember me? My husband with princely qualities who was not my prince, and my prince meeting together under one roof, my prince's house. And he, at that point, knew I was going to pick my husband. I was going to give that rose to my husband, not to him. Like the bachelorette, I was going to give it to him. I wasn't going to pick him. What was he to do? The only thing a traveling shoe salesman knew what to do. He asked me, what's my shoe size? That's what my prince asked me. He went down the stairs of his house where he had all his shoes and came back with these very lady size 11 slippers, lady slippers, and slipped them onto my feet, my delicate size 11 feet. I prayed and prayed, they did fit, they fit. And that's how I met my father-in-law. And was forever bonded with him over those 11. He was my traveling shoe salesman. Okay.
Is that a good story?
Is that a good story?